I know we do, folks. Your boy Marcus on 205 numbers after the name. A little Dark Souls Friday. Y'all already know how it is, man. This is such a Dark Souls boss, man. Dark Souls 2, by the way. The game I played most on Xbox this year, which is kind of crazy to think about. I think that only counts up to October, though, because I think I've already surpassed the total just for Call of Duty World War II this year. And I expect nothing less but Call of Duty World War II, with PUBG coming up second to be one of my top games of next year. But this year, Dark Souls 2, man, and what was a down year for me in the duty world. We came over here and we put in some work in the Dark Souls 2 action. It's just a testament to how long this game is, how hard this damn game is. Because I would have never, if you would have asked me what my top game played was last year, I probably would have said Modern Warfare Remastered. Probably. That would have been my guess. And I don't know if I'd get to Dark Souls, honestly. I'd probably consider it at some point just because of how long it took me to beat. But it's cool. And it's definitely a game that you want to come and invest your time in over here. So this is a very Dark Souls boss because the Dragonrider, if you remember, if you go back to like episode 3 or 4 of this series, and I remember him pretty good because he was one of the first bosses I fought in this game. And I remember him pretty good because I didn't go like the right way at the beginning of the game, which therefore made me very much stronger because I kept kind of like killing the same enemies, getting like more soul leveling up. I kept going to the Dragonrider instead of going over to the Forest of the Fallen Giants, I think it's called, or whatever it was. I kept going to the Dragonrider. I was like, man, this thing's really hard. And I almost beat him like once, and I almost like put that murder game over here on him. Sorry, Tina, we're gonna have to answer that phone call later. But I couldn't finish it off. And I was confused, whatever, and then eventually I was like, oh, I gotta go this way, da da da. But it's very Dark Souls to bring a boss that you played earlier on in the game and either make like an extremely stronger version of him, like the Blue Smelter Demon, which, well, man, when we get to that episode, woo! Or to just put like 2 of them against you. That's a Dark Souls thing just to do. Be like, yo, you remember when you had a hard time being one of these cats? Oh, yeah? Alright, yo, here's 2 of them. What's even more Dark Souls is when they give you a boss that you beat, and then they just put him as a regular-ass enemy in the world. And you're like, hold up. Wait a minute. Let me put some cushion up in it. Like, say word. Like, this thing was a boss, and now he's just a regular bro. What are you talking about, man? I don't know. I've never really seen a game do that until I saw like Dark Souls. Like, at least to like the level that Dark Souls does it. And man, I mean, there's so many good things about this game, man. If you haven't sunk your teeth into a Dark Souls game, it's not for everybody. But if you think it could be up to you, and if you have the patience and the time to kind of develop your skill at it, the price you pay at first is definitely worth the reward that you get.